Buddha said that life is suffering, and the cause of suffering is desire. Therefore, if you end desire, you end suffering. But how do you really let go of desire? And what happens to you when you do? That's what we're going to take a look at today. Coming up. Welcome to the Power of Quiet, where our purpose here is to put you on the fast track to realizing your true purpose in life, your true nature, so you could have abundance, you could have happiness, have peace of mind all the time. And if you're new here, hit subscribe, because what you're going to discover is that on this channel, we don't just talk about this stuff. We jump right in and do it. And what I want to talk about today is the topic of desire. And this is something that's been on my mind for a couple of weeks now, ever since I was touring through Romania. And I did a presentation in front of a group of people where I presented Buddha's point of view about desire. And I got a lot of doubts and resistance and skepticism thrown back at me about what I was saying. And this is a good thing. It's good for two reasons. Number one, skepticism is healthy. You see, skepticism enables you to grow faster, much faster than having a blind belief. Because skepticism is an attitude of, hey, what you say sounds good, but what good does it do me unless I can prove it for myself? Right? And then that leads you to the next step. Okay, well, let's prove it out. Let's see if this actually works. And then you do it. So that's powerful. Now, the second reason why this is good was that it got me to take a look at myself and how I was presenting this topic of desire. And I realized that over the past several years, like the past 4 or 5 years I've been teaching this, I've been taking this topic of desire for granted. Because I've been working on it, I get a better and better sense of what the nature desire is about. And I present it in a way that's kind of like a sledgehammer approach. This is what desire is. This is what we're going to do about it. Let's get to work. And of course this works. We all jump in, we start proving it out, we get results. But I think, in a way, we're still deep down holding back in a big way. We don't fully believe that it's good for us to completely let go of desire. And I realized that back when I first started teaching this, I was very mindful about how the mind perceives desire as something that is not only important, but absolutely necessary. And therefore, I really approached the topic gently and in stages to kind of warm us up, and so it can sink in much more deeply about what desire is all about. And it's so easy to forget that I want to present it here in this video, and also in the next course that I'm doing, the Conscious Creation Master Course. I'm going to really focus in on desire in a way where we can unravel it at the core of ourselves. Because desire is the thing that's holding us back from achieving all of our goals. It's a thing that is holding us back from being happy, feeling safe and secure, feeling at peace, and feeling truly loving all the time. But here's the thing. It's not intuitive to the mind to let go of desire. In fact, to the mind, it's totally counterintuitive. And that's just the way that we've been brought up. We've been brought up to desire things, to desire to have a better life, to have toys, to have experiences, to have accomplishments. And we've been led to believe that in order to get these things, we must desire them. And it's in the world all around us. Just look at advertisements on television, on the internet. It's all about desire, right? Every advertisement is designed to trigger your desire. And even social media is all about triggering your desire. Hey, look at this fantastic lifestyle. Look at this good thing. And it pulls you in because it's pulling on your desire. So in a way, you could say that our minds are hardwired to just react to desire. And that's something that we have to undo. All right? So let's start by just saying flat out that desire is lack. Wanting is lacking. Wanting is the opposite of having. They're polar opposites. Now, the skeptical side of you might say, well, wait, that's not necessarily true. Like, I have money, but I also want money. I want more, right? I have this thing, but I also want it. So that's fine. It's okay to have that skepticism. But here's the thing. Let's just look at the definition of desire. And you could pull up any dictionary, online or any physical book, look at the definition of desire and see what it says. Now, the dictionary's definition of desire is lacking. It's impoverishment. It's neediness. And when you just read through every aspect of that definition, it starts to sink in that wanting, that desire is easily the most negative word in the dictionary. It's all about suffering. It's right there in the dictionary. So that's your first proof that maybe we should be looking at this in a different way. But let's look at it a little bit more deeply, the nature of desire. You see, I want to clarify something that also gets tripped up in our minds, because we have this idea that, well, in order to have my goals, in order to have anything, I must have a desire for it first. How could I have anything without desiring it? That's another gotcha that comes up in the mind. And even if we take that more deeply, we can see that deep inside we have a belief that just to be in this world, I have to hold on to desire. If I didn't have desire for people, for accomplishments, for things in this world, then what's the point of being here in this world? And see, that's another gotcha from the mind. So we're going to examine this here. We're going to examine the nature of desire and clarify what I really mean about desire. And it can resolve some of these questions that come up in the mind. All right? So, desire. First of all, desire is a feeling that I lack something in this moment. See, to desire something is a belief that, well, it's not here in this moment. It's somewhere off in the future. It's somewhere out there. Right? It's not here, it's somewhere out there. And in this moment, while I'm desiring something, there's a neediness, a lacking for that. And there's a belief that once I have that thing, or once I have that experience, that person, or whatever it is that I'm desiring, then that feeling of lack will go away, that neediness will go away. I will feel fulfilled, and I would be happy. So the desire that we're looking at here really has two aspects to it. Number one, it's looking for happiness out there in the world. And it's a belief that once that thing that we get out there in the world, we have it, then we would be happy. But where does that leave us in the present moment? Unhappy, suffering, needy, and waiting for that thing to come. See, it's off in the future. We're waiting for it to come to us, and therefore we would be happy. So, right away, now looking at it this way, you could see how negative this really is. Because it's looking for happiness outside of yourself. And it's putting yourself in a present state of unhappiness. And the only thing that's going to change that unhappiness is when that circumstance changes, when you have that thing. Right? And the way I liken this is to the sirens in Greek mythology. You know, that lure the sailors over to the rocks where they crash? And that's the way the mind is working. It's saying, hey, once you get this thing, then you'll be happy. So like those sailors, we're sailing over to that beautiful siren song of happiness, a promise of happiness, and then we crash against the rocks. Because either we don't get it, then we're unhappy because we don't get it, or even when we do get it, how long does that happiness last? Not for very long. It doesn't take long before that happiness, oh, I got that thing. Wow, how wonderful. See, soon that turns into, oh, that's not so special anymore. Or that's not enough. I need to get more. Or I'm just dissatisfied with that now. I need something else. So, as you've seen, you can't satisfy desire. It never leads to permanent happiness. And really what it does is it keeps you in a state of suffering, in a state of neediness, and always having to fulfill it out there, outside of yourself. And you see how disempowering that is? So that's what Buddha was talking about. Now, therefore, what's the solution? Well, the solution is, number one, do what Buddha said. Let go of desire. See, it's a decision. When you let go of desire, that suffering ceases. And two, when you let go of desire, your thinking changes. And I'll explain this in a second. See, your consciousness changes from a consciousness of neediness to a consciousness of havingness. And this is what people call the law of attraction. But most people that practice the law of attraction, they're doing it all wrong. They're doing it by fostering desire. Put that vision board on your refrigerator. Put that, that holiday vacation, that island, that fancy car, all over your house. Put pictures up so you can look at it. It doesn't work that way. But they're on the right track. See, when you let go of desire, your consciousness changes. You see, the mind, it only deals in pictures. Like if I say don't fall down, what do you get a picture of? Falling down. The mind doesn't interpret the words not or don't. It just goes right to the picture. And look at what you're picturing when you're wanting something. What is that picture in your mind? It's a picture, I don't have it. It's somewhere out there, somewhere that's not here. That's a picture. And the mind is a creative instrument. Whatever picture you put in your mind is what you get. That's why wanting something is a very difficult way, if not impossible, to achieving something. That's why The normal way that we go through achieving our goals takes a lot of work. I'm going to show you a different way to do it. So that's the second aspect. Number one, when you let go of desire, that suffering ends. Number two, your picture changes. When you let go of desire, now all of a sudden, without having to put it into your mind, you just naturally have a picture of havingness. And this is the natural you that's showing up, that's already positive, that's already abundant. And this allows all of your goals to come to you. Now finally, number three, this is the third thing that happens when you drop desire, is that you realize your happiness doesn't come from out there in the world, that it's been inside of you all along. All the happiness that you've been looking for, all the satisfaction, all the safety, all the well-beingness, all the sense of control, being in control of everything in your life, it just comes up and it's your natural state. It's you. And you don't need to go looking for it out there ever again. And that's where you're seriously coming from a place of abundance and happiness in your life. Right? Now, does this make sense? You see, now that we break it down and we're looking at it this way, it really invalidates the way that we've been operating in the world. But here's the thing. We have deep-seated habits of still going out there for our happiness. And that can be a tough thing to break. And that's why it's really important for us to examine how we're using desire, how we're still holding on to it, how we're still valuing it, realizing that, and then shifting that so that we can let it go, using that realization so we can drop it and drop it easily. And again, it's going to be a major focus on the next 6-week course I'm doing here on conscious creation. All right, but let's do some work right now so we could take the steps right away to shifting from being in a place of wanting into a place of having. And we could do this with something that is a goal, something that we really want to have in our lives. All right, so think about something that is a goal of yours, something that you really want in your life. Now, it could be more abundance, more cash flow, more wealth in your life. It could be more time. It could be more wisdom, more of, what it is that you're after on your path. So just take a look at a big goal of yours. Now, take a look at your want for that. And there is a part of you that wants it, right? I want that. I want that goal. Now be honest with yourself and get in touch with that wanting. And notice when you're in touch with that wanting, when you're really paying attention to it, it's not a nice feeling. It's very uncomfortable. It's a lacking feeling, right? Now just try this out. You see, you can't want and have at the same time. They really are opposites. Anything that you have, you really don't want so much. Your feeling is, I have it, and you don't think about it so much. Yet the things that you want, they're constantly on your mind, both consciously and subconsciously. And you see they come up in your dreams at night and all of that. You're always thinking about those things, always looking for it, searching for it. looking for the answer, and you're not having it. So, notice also that want is a decision. It's something that you're doing. It's a choice. You're choosing to want it. And notice how that choice is really, in a way, driving you crazy. It's creating this lacking feeling. And you feel that? And you might feel it as like a physical sensation, like a clutch in your stomach or chest. And that's showing you that it's not natural. Now, since it's a decision, just try it out. Just decide now, could you let go of wanting? Let it go. So you could have. Just right now, could you let go of wanting that goal? And could you let go of wanting it so you could have it? And could you let go of wanting it so you could have it? Now let me ask you this. Which feels better? Does it feel better to want that thing? Or does it feel better to have it? Notice those are two very different experiences. One is easy and effortless. The other one is, well, not so great. So could you let go of wanting it so you could have it? And could you let go of wanting it so you could have it? And again, which feels better? Does it feel better to want it, or does it feel better to have it? And again, you notice that difference. And since it's your decision, could you let go of wanting it so you could have it? And even more. And could you let go of wanting it so you could have it? And even more. And even more. And even more. And since it's just a decision, just pay attention to this moment. Don't worry about 5 minutes from now, later on, or tomorrow. Just in this moment, can you just let go of your want for it? Regardless of what your mind says. Even if your mind says, well, how will I stay focused on my goal? Forget that. If this doesn't work out for you, you can go back to wanting it. You know how to do that. You've been doing it your whole life. You're very good at it. So if this doesn't work, you can go right back to it. I promise. But right now, just in this moment, can you just drop that want? Just drop it. Now notice what you're experiencing. Probably experiencing a lot of quiet that's showing up and a sense of ease. And you might even notice more of a sense of happiness. Just check it out. See if it feels more like you could have it than it did a moment ago. You notice that? Now this proves exactly what Buddha was saying. See, this sense of ease and quiet, that's the suffering that's going away. And the sense of, hey, it's more possible. I feel more positive about it. And I didn't have to kid myself to do it. I just know. That's your picture now changing. Your consciousness into a consciousness of happiness. So, this is the key. This is the key to realizing who you really are. Just to drop all of your wants. Buddha talked about this. Jesus talked about this. Lester talked about this. Every master that you ever listen to, they all talk about the same thing, dropping desire. Now, I think what we do here is probably the most practical approach to doing this. And if you just follow along with what we did here, just keep doing this, you'll see a big change. And if you really want to jump in with both feet and get a massive change, then join me on this new Conscious Creation Master course. I'll put a link to it in the description below. But we're going to really spend a lot of time over the next 6 weeks in both live interactions, working hands-on, as well as guided videos and all sorts of other content that will really deepen this experience of understanding this nature of desire and catch it. Because look, even for myself, I've been doing this a long, long time. I still see part of myself deep down holding on to that wanting and still engaging into it because it's a habit. But let's get real. Let's get clear and just break the habit in all of us. So join me on this. All right? So anyway, practice this. Jump in and join me on the new course. And let's just move up very quickly and realize the great being that we've been all along.